I love Kirk Cousins. I think he's funny. You know that song that they play, the swag and the surf. I mean, I think Kirk Cousins is hilarious.
To be clear though, anytime you hear I'm on him on it, he's on it, it is any school we've gone to. That Mo Bamba and Swag Surf, any place you go to in the entire country, no matter what the age is, they go bananas.
Gets the crowd going.
It is. And so Kirk Cousins not hearing that before, I think is a little alarming, but that's how focused he is.
Exactly, locked in.
But then whenever now, maybe this is a new Kirk Cousins. Maybe this is a more free Kirk Cousins.
Swag
he was Kirk Cochains last year and the year before that on the plains. Now he's swagging and surfing down there in Atlanta with the chains. I mean, Kirk Cousins, this could be the best version of Kirk Cousins we've ever seen. So you putting out into the universe times of Kirk's past, way past, I don't think it's fair.
I'm just saying it's possible. I mean, same with Baker. They're both great. I'm just saying it is possible. And then, seeing the little promo that Prime Video is running with Baker Mayfield tonight of him as like Rex something.
Florida man
Rex, basically. And he's going Chad Powers behind the scenes. Feels like vibes are very high for the Bucs too. So I think it's going to be a great one. This might be one of the best primetime games we've had thus far.
What are the percentage of bets right now? Because there was a stat that I saw got sent into the group, I believe, by Gumpy about how teams are faring. Here it is, NFL teams that are getting less than 50% of the bets are 38, 22, and 2 against the spread this season. 43% of the bets are currently on the Falcons, minus 1.5 versus the Bucs on Thursday Night Football. So that would fall into the 38 thing instead of the 22 thing for the Atlanta Falcons at home tonight. Tony, is there any other numbers we need to know?
Yeah, that's the worst start for gamblers, or that stat is the worst start for gamblers in 20 years. So a historically bad start so far for the public. Over
20 years?
20 years.
We're getting our asses beat.
More gobblers, more new gobblers. That's crazy. That's got to be why.
Yeah, but normally the new gobblers hit because it's like beginner's luck, and then they're chasing that dragon forever.
There's a lot of dummies out there.
Yep. And week 4 or 5, we should kind of know what we got a little bit, have a chance as a betting public. But this year,
it seems like we don't.
It might turn. Doesn't it always turn? I feel like at some point it turns.
It has not for casinos. I don't think there's been a couple casinos that it's just gone.
Yeah,
it is just going.
I always thought beginning of the season is when we win, and then they figure it out, and then we lose.
Yeah, because they got their algorithms and their big brains and their ability.
No, the beginning of the season is when we think we know, but we have no idea.
This is a true story
of gambling. But no, I mean, that's at one book. That's at BetMGM. The site I use apparently brings in all the books together to bring in all the gambling information. Has it even lower. They have like 30% of the bets on the Falcons tonight. And those teams have done even better than the 50% of bets tonight. We'll see, though. Chuck brings up a lot of good points about the Falcons' close games and things like that.
So Kirk's 1-3 against the spread. Baker's 3-1. Just throwing it out there. I don't know if you need all these other
Connor
numbers.
Connor, hey, Coach.
Messi's team would beat Burnley. We all agree, or no?
Yes!
Yeah, dude.
That's a shoot question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's do that game.
Yeah,
I like that.
would be sick.
They would dominate Burnley. Burnley's a D-League team, bro.
No! B-League!
Burnley would be playing with the Riverhounds. That would be a good game.
No.
That
Yes. That is the current league that they're in.
Gums, who would win, Gums?
Between Burnley and Inter Miami?
Yeah.
I'm
It'd be a
FaceTiming
match.
JJ right now. I'm FaceTiming
It'd be a
JJ.
match.
There's no way it'd be a match. I thought they have Messi. I thought they were part of Barcelona.
They're a bit of an old firm.
Hey, we're
squad,
live, okay?
What's up? All right.
Hey, how come you, as the businessman that you are, haven't tried to set up Inter Miami versus Burnley? Let's get Messi versus Watt. Is that possible? And how would your team fare against Inter Miami?
That'd be a great plan. I'd love that plan. Let's get that on the books. I'll get Bex on the phone, and we'll try and make that happen ASAP. Obviously, they got the best player in the world, so it'd be a great challenge for us. But he's rolling. What do you have, 2, 3 yesterday?
2, yeah. 17 goals, 17 games. He's back, free kick, and he won, off his shoulder. But Burnley would fare well or not well against this Inter. We're trying to judge where the MLS is. Let me tell you, Boston Connor called the MLS the CFL of soccer.
Boy.
Okay? So we're trying to figure out where our best kind of match up around the world, which is why we call you. You feel good about Burnley squad taking on Inter Miami?
I mean, you always have to be careful when a team has the best player on the planet in the history of the game.
Bingo. That's the MLS.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly elevates. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's elevating it. But, I mean, overall, I would really enjoy watching that, actually. I would really enjoy seeing it.
who wins.
All right, JJ, we appreciate. He's not going to say
CFL. Ask him
the CFL comparison's not fair either, right? For the MLS.
I mean, what did you compare that to? Like, so
NFL is the Premier League, and MLS is the CFL.
I mean, I don't think there's nobody in the world would deny that the Premier League is a superior league.
Okay,
Boom,
all right, yeah,
boom,
this guy's got a vested interest. Okay, that guy, we don't need to
seen
hear.
a guy dance around questions like that in quite some time.
Long time, Gumps.
I mean, I think you saw it Tuesday, but
Nobody wants pink slips. Nobody wants pink slips with the MLS right now. Okay, with what we got cooking.
I think everybody does.
Portland Timbers, brother.
Oh yeah, come on. Are the Timbers in it this year? Yeah, they're all right. What about the Sounders?
How do you feel about the state of the Dallas Cowboys, the future of the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry Jones landing his chopper in the middle of the practice field? Obviously, if you're a billionaire, you can do whatever the hell you want. And this is a hilarious move straight out of a movie, AJ.
I agree 100%. You're like, you can criticize them all you want. You're Jerry Jones. You're a billionaire. You've built the Cowboys to what they are. Like, they're the face of the NFL, whether people like it or not. Like, people are Cowboys fans all over the planet. So I think this is awesome. Do it. When I first saw this happen, though, I initially thought of Big Mike McCarthy coming from Green Bay when he was head coach in Green Bay for a long time, which is like there's no owner. You're practicing basically in a neighborhood. There's no like glitz and glamour stuff like this. I would love to see the first time Jerry landed that helicopter when Big Mike's there at practice. Like, just if there was a camera on Big Mike the whole time, that would have been some of the best footage ever, because I bet he is. But couldn't you look at this? What we do? I mean, okay, we're in the middle of team run.
Oh, a helicopter. Jeez, Louise. Never seen one of that. You ever see this before? I've never
maybe
seen it.
Maybe could drop me off at home after practice.
Maybe dodge the traffic a little bit. A couple different coaching strategies kind of taking place seemingly between these two teams for different situations that are taking place. Let's go to Minnesota first. Andrew Van Ginkel talked about what Coach Flores said to them on his sideline during a game.
Yeah, he was hard on us because we didn't play up to the standard, especially in that second half. We were giving up chunk plays, it was just a snowball effect, and we had a couple turnovers in there, but I think he said something about like 10 of the 12 plays or something were negative plays for us, so that's unacceptable, and it's something that we got to strive to perfect and get better at.
So the way the tweet was phrased by a journalist from Fox 9 over there was Brian Flores chewed him out pretty much, and then he was a little bit upset with the way things are going and let him know about it, confront him, and then you go to what Coach Saleh said at a press conference about how he handles the team and situations, conversations after the type of loss that they had this past weekend.
Depends on who you talk to. I personally know they're men. They want to be treated like men. They already know they messed up. They don't need to be embarrassed. They need to know how to correct it. And I don't think doing push-ups is teaching a guy how to correct it.
Okay, both very valid answers and different coaching styles in the moment. Coach Saleh, also head coach, not just defense coordinator, with his guys and it all. Both teams, now the Vikings, obviously, absolute wagon. Jets in a spot that I think they're wondering, their fans are wondering. Yeah. I am a believer, okay, that the guy who comes on this show on Tuesdays and plays quarterback and has 4 MVPs and is going to be in a Mount Rushmore whenever he's done about football in a total. I'm a believer that on offense, he'll figure it out. I'm a believer that their defense has enough talent that they should be able to figure it out to go forward. How do you hear what are your thoughts whenever you hear Van Ginkel talk about B-Flow and Coach Saleh there at his press conference, just immediately as a man who coached 18 years in the NFL?
Yeah, I think you got to have those conversations. I think players, they want to be coached. They want discipline, and they want to be told the truth. All right? They don't want to be embarrassed in front of their peers. If you go after some of these NFL players in front of their peers, and if you have a relationship with them, Pat, guys, if you have a relationship, then there's more that can be said. And you get the most work done. Like when you have a relationship with a player and you call them in and it's behind closed doors, anything can be said in there, both ways. Okay, and it's all based on that relationship, and if that player trusts that coach and he respects that coach and vice versa, then critical, conversations can be made. They can be had, and they have to, because like I said, players want to be coached. They want to know the truth. They don't want things candy coated. I mean, Aaron said it on the deal when the deal came up about cadence. He said, no, we got to hold players accountable. Yeah. Maybe that's a deal. You know that. You've been in the locker room. AJ's been in the locker room. He'll be on here in a while. You don't, because they'll get sniffed out. Like if you just pick on the guys that you can pick on, the rookies, this, that, and the other, and then the other guys, sit in the team meeting and they're never like called out or get away. You can't do that.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who's a multiple-time Super Bowl champion, a former general manager in the NFL, an advisor, a consultant, a man who has a live talk show, a podcast. He's a TED talker, an author, and an email newsletter founder, creator, and writer. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
What's up, guys? How are we? And I'm friends with Frank Luntz, too. I just want you to know he's got a house in Los Angeles in Beverly Hills that the White House office is in his house. He replicated the White House office. And I think Robert Saleh would do a lot of world of good to spend a little bit of time with them. Maybe, as Chuck said, he might want to think about what he says before he goes to that press conference, because he's not been on a streak. I mean, he's been on the anti-DiMaggio streak when he goes talks to the press.
Yeah, and that's going to happen when you become the head coach. That's a part of the gig. You're going to have to be speaking for the organization, for the program, for your players, for your coaches, and hopefully they're able to settle that. I asked Chuck earlier on the program, and I'm excited to take your thoughts on this because I think I already heard him on the internet. Davante Adams. Okay.
Yeah.
You pick him up out of Las Vegas, which you've been saying has potentially been an issue since the beginning of offseason whenever everybody else was getting wide receiver contracts. He was looking for a new wide receiver contract because he only has this year left of guaranteed money, and he's seeing a lot of wide receivers that are nowhere near as good as him get paid a lot of money, and he was wondering, well, Bambi. So you said quietly that's been happening behind the scenes for Las Vegas. You told us that. You've said that on your show. This has been taking place. Now it all comes to a head, and everybody's saying he's looking to go to the Jets or the Saints, but more specifically, the Jets, to get back into an offense that he knows with Hackett and a quarterback, obviously, that he's had a lot of success with in Aaron Rodgers, and they have a chance to potentially go and win. I heard your take on this. You don't think that's going to happen or a good move, or the Jets don't automatically come super? Go ahead.
I think that, he's got $13 million coming to him. Now, the Jets have the room because of the Riddick thing, which we won't get into, so they could easily do it. But what happens with the compensation? I mean, the Raiders come out and say they want a second-round pick. Well, who's going to pay the $13 million? Look, I think he would help the Jets. The Jets have a struggle to make big plays down the field, right? Last week in their game against Denver, their front got torn up. Denver's defensive front did a great job against them. But I think Adams would add something to him. I mean, Garrett Wilson hasn't been able to get going in the offense. There hasn't seemed to have been a chemistry with their quarterback and the receivers, and we know, and I'm in the same camp as you are, the quarterback is exceptional. I mean, nobody throws the ball in locations where he does. It's really remarkable, but he needs everybody on the same page, and it's struggling, and I think this would help their team. However, I think it's hard to maneuver. I think the Raiders have to give up a lot, and if you're going to give up a contract, if you're going to not redo his contract, and you're going to bring him into your team, like let's take, for example, the Saints. They could use him. They talked about him going there. Well, next year his cap number is at like $35 million. The Saints are $100 million over the cap. How do they get him under? You can't trade a high pick for a one-year contract, and I think there lies the problem, and I think it's a hard deal to do. This deal should have been done in the offseason when Tom Telesco got in there, because this problem has been brewing since February.
Connor has a question for you about a reaction that happens seemingly every single week.
Yeah, Al, you've talked about this to us before, and I just kind of want to hear the answer again, because every week people are always like, why isn't Al Michaels losing his mind for a first quarter CD Lamb touchdown against the Giants, which is what happened last week. But can you explain just kind of how you call a game and knowing the importance of the big moments? Because that has been a conversation by people on the internet. Like, hey, does Al Michaels realize that was a, big play touchdown, even though, we all know there are more big plays to come?
I don't scream the game at you. I don't holler the game at you.
Never have. Though, right?
No, never have. And, when people go back and they say, Pat Summerall was one of the greatest of all time. And he was. Remember how Pat did the game? 2nd and 5. Gain of 3. Right? He didn't blow you out. You have to save it for the moments. And I think when you look at like Joe Buck, you look at Jim Nantz and myself, and we did, like 17 of the last 18 Super Bowls. We don't scream the game at you. We don't holler the game at you. But there's a whole bunch of people around the country. Look, it's a very diverse country of 330 million people. And there are some who want you to, whoa, it's 4-2 in the basketball game. Whoa! If it's 4-2, where do you go at 102 to 101? Where do you go?
Yeah.
You got to leave some room.
Yeah.
So, I mean, CD Lamb scores a time. So what am I supposed to do? Scream my guts out? Anyway,
Al,
that's
it's my fault.
I
want to let you know I'm one of the people why it's my fault though. I'm very at everything, So I am a part to blame with that entire thing. But also, I think there's a lot of people that maybe, I don't want to say newer to sports, but probably a little bit newer to sports. They don't know that is what makes Al Michael. Al Michael's telling a story in there, and not every moment is the climax of the story. There is others that are on their way, which is why you'd make it into any Hall of Fame that you wanted to. And I think it's a beautiful thing, legitimately.